My radio. For as long as I can remember, I have loved being in a car. I could be driving to school, heading to work, running errands, picking up friends for fun times, going on a date, or cruising on a road trip to the shore. Whatever I'm up to, just being in my car is my happy place. Just me, my theme music for the day, and the road. Ah, yes. Even when my car was a bit up there in age, like my '85 Corolla, with a couple 100,000 miles on it. Even when the air didn't work quite right in my '93 Benz 190E. Even when the media player started having a mind of its own in my 2020 Cooper, there was still something about being inside a car that made sense to me. Hop in. The door closes. The outside gets a little quieter. The road opens up in front of me, and for the length of a drive, I'm in my own world. Over the years, I learned what I liked. Temperature first. Same goal every time. Make me feel like spring. That air feels just right against my skin. Not too cold, not too warm. The same kind of air I like when I am walking near water and the weather is giving, "This is the day your vision hath made." Then the music. Gotta have the theme music. Every superhero gotta have some. And I'm no exception. Except for me, I seem to have thousands of theme music tracks in my playlist. So it's often a fun adventure exploring what aligns with my vibe for that day, that ride. It's my ritual to decide before I shift out of park, even if I'm running late. In a lot of ways, music is one of the main reasons I love being in the car. The right song can change the temperature of the whole day before the day even knows it has been changed. I have been building my music library for years. There is something in there for almost every version of me. The version that needs to wake up. The version that needs to chill out. The version that wants to daydream. The version that wants to drive with the windows up, hands steady on the wheel, and let one song explain what I do not feel like saying out loud. And the scent. An air freshener that says ocean, but smells sweeter. Airy, just enough. No food in the car if I can help it. Well, at least not fast food. Fast food stays too long. Fries stay too long. A sandwich can become a passenger even after the passenger is gone. So I try to keep the car simple, clean, empty, open. Just the faint trace of my chosen scent. Maybe a little cologne, maybe a little leather. I like the seat at the angle I like. I like the center console clear. I like knowing where my water goes. I like one cup holder for the drink and one for whatever small thing I am using that day. AirPods, keys, something I do not want sliding around. I like the floor unoccupied. I like the back seat looking almost untouched. Sometimes people get in and say it looks like I just bought the car. I take that as a compliment. It sounds like a small thing. A lot of people would say it is a small thing. But when it is all in place and it is just me in there and the music is where I like it, I have sat at a red light and felt more at home than I have felt in a lot of rooms where I had an actual key. Some people have a chair by a window. Some people have a porch. Some people have a room in the house where they can close the door. Mine has wheels. That is my world. And tomorrow, I am driving two people who helped fund my dream straight through the middle of it. My dream was a small publishing imprint. At least that was the easiest way to explain it. It had started with stories, then small objects, then a platform idea, then a few digital tools, then artists and writers and projects that needed somewhere to live before they were big enough to stand on their own. Some ideas are like that. They do not arrive with a business plan. They arrive as folders you keep saving, voice notes you do not delete, sketches on napkins, a sentence in your phone from 3 years ago that still feels like it is waiting on you. I had spent years helping other creative people in small ways. A conversation here, a connection there, a barter, a late night review of something someone was trying to make. I liked that world. I liked being near the moment where an idea goes from private to possible. Eventually, I wanted to build something that could facilitate more of that. An imprint, a platform, a place for stories and creative work to move from somebody's inner world into the actual world. I'm blessed that a couple of friends believed in the vision and offered an initial investment to complement my savings. That helped with a few initial projects and the proof of concept that could attract others. Others, like Lena, a respected investor with a gift for catalyzing inspired ventures. We met through a referral, and she saw the vision right away. Her investment helped take it to another level. Her yes made the room bigger. After Lena, we saw had more deposits, deadlines, a production calendar, conversations with people who used words like deliverables without apologizing. The dream got legs. It also got meetings. Lena was generous, sharp, opinionated, often right, which made the opinionated part harder to complain about. She had a way of asking a question that sometimes already had her answer inside it. As my appreciation for her style grew, our partnership followed suit. I made room for that in our creative flow. Sometimes it helped. Sometimes she saw the thing I was missing. Sometimes what felt like a little too much at first turned into the exact edit the project needed. And one of her best ideas was to engage Maya. She's coming with us too. Maya and Lena had known each other since college. They had planned campus events together, raised money together, argued about logistics together, and somehow kept choosing more projects together for more than 30 years. They were not related, but they moved through certain parts of life like family. Maya had invested too, not at Lena's level, but enough to have her own seat at the table. She had also talked me through enough practical issues that I trusted her eye. The three of us were headed to a coastal creative showcase, part exhibit, part gathering, part celebration of independent artists and emerging founders. It was the kind of event I would have wanted to attend even if I had nothing in it. But this time, we did. A few of our projects would be there, some printed pieces, a small demo of the platform, a table with objects and samples, enough to make the thing feel real in a new way. A few days before the showcase, Maya asked if I would be okay driving. She knew I liked the road. They both did. I had driven us to enough lunches, meetings, print shops, walkthroughs, and small events by then that my car had become part of how we moved through the work. And honestly, I didn't mind. I like a good drive. I like knowing the route. I like being useful in that way. There's a part of me that enjoys setting the space up well and watching people settle into it without ever knowing how much thought went into it. So I said yes. But as soon as I knew they were riding with me, I started preparing. Not the morning of, days before. I thought about the cup holders first. Lena always came with a drink, always. Coffee, sparkling water, tea, something with a lid that may or may not have been as secure as advertised. So I moved my AirPods out of the second cup holder, then the charger. Maya's phone was almost always somewhere between 12% and a prayer, so I put the extra cable where she could reach it without asking. Then the trunk. I had beach chairs back there, a small umbrella, a bag I kept meaning to take out. Usually it was fine because usually it was just me. But Maya had said she was bringing a few things. And when Maya said a few things, that could mean a tote bag or it could mean a small museum. So I cleared the trunk. Then I opened the back door and looked at the seat. Too far back? Maybe. Too close? Maybe. I adjusted it once. Then I stood there and looked at it. Then I adjusted it again. The passenger side temperature was next. I set it lower than I would set it for myself, but not so low that I would spend the first hour silently freezing in my own car. That felt reasonable. Then the scent. I liked it stronger than most people did, so I cut it back. Just enough that the car still felt like mine, but not enough for anyone to get in and say, "Whew, what is that?" Then the music. That was the hardest part. When the car becomes more of a field trip, I can open the music up. I have done that plenty of times. Somebody wants to play a song they just found. Somebody has an artist they swear I need to hear. Somebody says, "Wait, play this." And suddenly the ride becomes its own little listening room. I really enjoy that. I have found songs that way, learned people that way, heard things I never would have reached for on my own. But this drive felt different. Maybe because of the showcase. Maybe because part of me already knew I would be on display once we got there. Maybe because I had my own little ritual before days like that. And this time the ritual had to happen with other people in the car. So I wanted music in the car, but not loud enough to take over. Lena and Maya always talked when we rode together, and I liked that too. I wanted the conversation. I wanted the shared ride, but I wanted something under it. Something I could hear faintly between sentences. Something that could still do a little of what music does for me, even if it could not do all of it that day. I went through options while enjoying my ceremonial matcha, while getting ready, while answering emails, while pretending to think about other things. Too sleepy, too sharp, too personal for that early in the morning, too likely to become the whole conversation. Eventually, I found something. An Amapiano album that never fails. It always does just enough for my soul without doing too much. I figured that would give me a little ground under the day without asking everybody else to climb inside my headphones. By the time I was done, I stood there looking at the car like I had solved something. Lena would have her cup holder. Maya would have her charger. The trunk would have space. The air would work. The scent would not be too much. The music would provide enough vibe without butting into our conversations. I felt good about that. It did not feel like sacrifice. It felt like the small satisfaction of setting a table before people arrive and knowing everyone has a place. They could have what they needed. I could still have what I needed. That was the guess, anyway. Well, today's the day. Time to hit the road. A gathering of like-minded, kindred creatives, plus an opportunity to be near the ocean. Can't get much better than that. I decided to enjoy my Amapiano album at full volume as if it was my last meal before a fast. I bopped in my driver's seat while acting like I was actually in the viral music video. Another one of my rituals. I kept that same energy all the way to Lena's condo, where I finished my final song before turning down the volume to trip level. Lena saw me first. I didn't even need to tell her I was outside. I chuckled. That's so her. Lena stays ready. She came out with a rolling bag, a tote, and a coffee. Of course, the cup holder was ready. I watched her notice it without knowing she noticed it. She got in, settled the coffee down, and kept talking like the sentence had started before the door opened. She was excited about the weekend, who might be there, who she wanted me to meet, which table placement would probably give us the best traffic, whether the demo should be on the left side or the right side. I nodded, pulled away from the curb, and felt that small private satisfaction of having anticipated at least one thing correctly. Maya was next. She had one tote on her shoulder, another bag in her hand, and a flat box I did not ask about because I already knew the trunk was clear. "Is there room back there?" she asked. "There is," I said. And there was. Another small win. She slid into the back seat, put her phone in her lap, and within 30 seconds said, "Do you have a charger?" I handed it back without looking. She laughed. "You are prepared." I said, "I try." And I did. We got back on the road, and for a little while, everything was working. The air was fine, the bags had a place, the coffee was secure. Maya plugged in her phone. Lena was in the front seat, scrolling through the event schedule and reading off names of people she thought we should catch before the opening session. I was driving. The music was low, but there. My hands were on the wheel. The road was still close enough to home that it did not feel like a trip yet, but far enough that the day had started to become something else. Then Maya opened her bag. She had one of those foil-wrapped breakfast sandwiches from the neighborhood spot. Egg, bacon, cheese, and apparently enough grilled onion to announce itself before she did. I could tell it was from one of those places where the food tastes like comfort, but smells like it has a lease agreement with the air. "Oh," she said, unwrapping it. "I haven't had one of these in forever, but I figured, what the heck, we're going to the ocean." She leaned forward a little. "Y'all want a bite?" Lena laughed and said no. I said, "I'm good," which was true in one sense, not in the other. I had just gotten the scent where I wanted it. I could feel the sandwich entering every part of the air I had prepared. I didn't want them to think I'm a weirdo. I mean, who in the world doesn't love the smell of a breakfast sandwich? Me. That's who. I adjusted the ventilation, just a little, then a little more. I kept my face easy and merged onto the highway. The coast was ahead. The showcase was ahead. The ride was still working. Mostly. The conversation moved the way conversations move when everybody is excited, but nobody wants to admit they are also thinking through logistics. Lena talked about the exhibit table. Maya talked about the box in the trunk, which turned out to be a set of sample cards she had decided to bring just in case. I asked one question about the schedule and immediately got 3 answers. That was fine. I was used to that and wouldn't have it any other way. Traffic thickened for a few miles near the construction zone. Orange barrels on the right, brake lights ahead. A truck in the next lane carrying something tied down with straps that did not inspire confidence. Lena looked over at the screen. "Are you taking the bridge route?" "I was planning to." "Interesting." There was that word. Not bad, not good, just placed there. I said, "Unless traffic changes." She nodded like she was letting the route continue. A few minutes later, Maya shifted in the back. "Is there air back here?" I had been waiting for that one. "Yeah," I said. "I set it a little cooler on that side. Let me know if you need more." I adjusted it. Then I adjusted mine because now my left arm was getting cold. That was fine. That was part of what I had prepared for. Maya cracked the window for a second after finishing the sandwich, just a little, probably trying to help. Outside air moved in. Eau de road, oil, somebody's cigarette from a car ahead of us. Then the window went back up. I did not say anything. Lena looked around the car. "You really keep it this empty?" I smiled. "Pretty much. I mean, it looks brand new." "Thank you." "I don't know how you do that," she said. "My car looks like I live in it." I could have said, "Mine does too, just differently." Instead, I smiled again and kept driving. A sign passed overhead. Coastal route, 48 miles. The road opened a little after that. Traffic loosened. The cars spread out. The sky started to look wider. That helped. Then Lena turned slightly toward me. "You sit close to the wheel." I looked down at my own hands, as if I had not arranged my seat to this exact position hundreds of times. "Yeah, this is comfortable for me." "Oh, I wasn't saying anything. I just noticed." I nodded. That was the thing. People just noticed. They noticed the empty car, the seat, the air, the music, the way I kept my water, the way I did not keep napkins in every pocket of the door. Each comment was small enough to let go, so I let it go. Then Lena heard the music. "What is this?" she asked. I told her the artist. She tilted her head. "Interesting." Maya said from the back, "I kind of like it." Lena said, "No, it's interesting. It's just very..." She moved her hand a little, searching for the word. "Textural." I almost laughed. Textural was not bad. It was just Lena finding a way to comment without committing herself. A few miles passed. The conversation moved back to the showcase. Someone from a studio in Baltimore might come. A founder from Atlanta had confirmed late. The space had sent another email about load-in. Maya found the email and started reading from it, then lost service halfway through the sentence. The music kept playing underneath everything, low enough for the conversation, low enough that nobody had to talk over it, but also low enough that the beat was carrying more of the song than the melody. That was the trade-off. At that level, the music could be present without taking over, but it also could not fully become itself. Enough of the song to keep me connected to myself, not enough of it to ask the whole car to live inside it. Then Lena said, "Is it supposed to have this much bass?" I took a breath through my nose. "At this volume, that's mostly what comes through," I said. "If it's up a little more, the melody opens." "Oh." That was all she said. I thought about turning it up. My thumb even moved toward the control. Part of me wanted to let the song explain itself, let the melody come forward, let them hear why I had chosen it in the first place. Then I stopped. Because once the song was fully itself, it would also be more exposed. And if she commented on that version, the actual music, the part I loved, the part I had chosen to steady myself for the day, I was not sure I could keep my face the way I had been keeping it. So I left it low. That was the part nobody in the car knew. They didn't know how much had already been arranged before they opened the doors. The scent was lighter, the cup holder was cleared, the trunk was emptied, the temperature was negotiated. The playlist was chosen with conversation in mind. The volume was low enough to make room for their voices. The window had opened, the sandwich had happened, and I was still driving like everything was fine, because in a way, it was. None of it was terrible. That was part of what made it hard. Each thing was reasonable enough by itself. Together, they started to feel like little revisions no one had asked permission to make. And the music was the thing I had left. Lena had good instincts. I knew that. Her comments had helped the work before. Her confidence had opened doors. In the right setting, I wanted her thoughts. I wanted her eye on the table, the materials, the positioning, the room. But this was not a meeting. The playlist was not a draft. The radio was not part of the pitch. Still, Lena was Lena. She did what she did. A little later, she said, "You know who I was listening to this morning?" Of course I didn't. "No, who?" "That indie artist who performed at the last event." "Oh yeah," I said. "I like her music." "You do?" "Yes, I have her saved in my music app." I showed Lena. She brightened like this proved something. "She's good, right?" "She is." Maya looked up from her phone. "Who?" I kept my eyes on the road. I could feel where this was going before it got there. There was a sign ahead. Exit 39, 7 miles. Lena said, "Why don't you put that artist on for a second? Maya should hear it." There it was. She said it like a question. It was not quite a question. Not really. It had the shape of a suggestion and the energy of a decision already leaning forward. "Why don't you put that artist on for a second? Maya should hear it." Maya had not asked to hear it. That was the part that registered first. Then everything else registered behind it. The sandwich, the window, the air, the seat, the route. Interesting, textural, the bass. All the things I had arranged before they knew there was anything to arrange. And I had arranged them willingly. That was the part I kept coming back to. Nobody had forced me to care that much. Nobody had asked me to prepare the car like a guest room. I had wanted the ride to feel good for everyone, but I had wanted it to feel good for me too. I know it sounds like it was just a song, but by then it was the only piece of my ritual I had left. I kept both hands on the wheel. "I'm enjoying what's on right now," I said. I used my inside voice, which sometimes is lower than others, especially in a car with road noise, low music with noticeable bass, and two financiers more accustomed to folks who say what they mean. I called myself self-regulating, almost as if I was telling Lena a secret, or better yet, like I was just thinking out loud. I'm sure I would have been a little looser had it been my best friends versus my best investors. Lena turned toward me. Huh? I felt it in my gut as I repeated with a bit more commitment. I'm enjoying what's on right now. I'm sure Maya will enjoy it when you share it with her later. Did I just say that? Yes. Yes, I did. Oh, she said. Then after a beat, I just wanted Maya to hear it. I know, I said. The road hummed under us. A car passed on the left. I could see the exit sign getting closer. The car got quiet. Not silent. The tires were still on the road. The music was still there, low as it was. Maya's phone made a small sound from the back seat. Lena shifted her coffee in the cup holder. The air moved through the vents, but the talking pulled back. I kept my face arranged, not tense, not smiling too much either. Just enough face to keep the drive from becoming about my face. I glanced in the rearview mirror at some point and caught Maya's eyes. She gave the smallest smirk. Not making fun, not taking sides. Just a look that said she had seen the thing happen. I almost smiled back. Almost. Then I looked at the road again. Exit 39, 3 miles. No one said anything. 3 miles can be a long way when the car has gone quiet. I wondered if I had pushed too hard. Then I wondered why saying I wanted to keep my own music on in my own car felt like pushing. Then I wondered if Lena felt embarrassed. Then I wondered if I was supposed to fix that. Then I got annoyed that I was already thinking about fixing it. The road bent slightly right. The coast was close enough now that the signs had started using beach names instead of highway numbers. Maya leaned forward. Could we stop at the next exit? I could use a bathroom. And honestly, I kind of want fries. Lena laughed a little. Not fully, but a little. Fries after a breakfast sandwich, she said. Maya said, we are at the coast. Different rules. I said, there's a stop coming up. My voice sounded normal enough. The sign came into view. Exit 39, Coastal Services. I put on the blinker. We took the ramp. The road changed after the exit. It always does near the coast. The highway gives you speed, and then suddenly there are smaller signs, faded awnings, a gas station with beach towels hanging near the door, a seafood place that looks closed until somebody walks out holding a bag, and a parking lot full of gulls acting like they signed the lease. We pulled into a small roadside stop with a convenience store, bathrooms around the side, and a walk-up window selling fries, lemonade, and things that probably tasted better because of the salt in the air. Maya got out first, then Lena. I stayed in the car for a second after they closed the doors. The quiet changed when they were outside. It was not heavy anymore. It was just quiet. I looked at the screen. The Amapiano album was still playing, still low. I almost turned it up. Then Maya tapped the window and pointed toward the building, asking if I wanted anything. I shook my head. By the time I got out, Lena was at the walk-up window ordering fries like this had been her plan all along. Maya came back from the bathroom smiling. I'm telling you, she said, different rules. The air smelled like salt, hot oil, sunscreen, and somebody's car engine cooling down. Lena took the fries when they were ready. A paper tray, too hot to hold comfortably. Little packet of ketchup balanced on the side. She turned toward us, holding them out. Okay, she said. Now these I will share. The seagull came from nowhere, low and fast. 1 second the fry was in the tray. The next second the bird had it and was already past her shoulder, like it had a meeting to get to. Lena jumped back. Maya gasped. A few fries slid to one side of the tray but did not fall. For half a second, nobody moved. Then I laughed. I could not help it. "Geez," I said, "that bird didn't even submit a proposal first." Maya lost it. Lena looked at the fries, then at the gull, then back at us, and started laughing too. "Did you see that?" she said. "We all saw that," Maya said. "That was aggressive." "That was strategy," I said. Maya was still laughing. "That bird has done this before." Lena held the tray closer to her chest. "I have 5 fries left, and I'm protecting them." That made us laugh again, and that was enough. Not everything got named. Nothing got repaired out loud. Nobody apologized. Nobody needed to make a speech in the parking lot next to the gulls. But the air moved. When we got back in the car, Lena climbed in carefully with the remaining fries like she was transporting evidence to the lab for analysis. Maya buckled herself in and said, "I respect the hustle, honestly." I started the car. The music was still on. No one asked me to change it. For a few minutes, we just drove. The coastal road ran beside low buildings, parking lots, dunes in the distance, and little breaks where you could see flashes of water between things. Lena offered Maya a fry. Then she offered me one. I almost said no. Then I took it. It was too salty. It was perfect, actually. We reached the showcase a little after that. The place was already awake. People were unloading boxes from trunks, carrying frame pieces, setting up folding tables, taping signs to walls, rolling carts over uneven pavement. Someone had a stack of books under one arm and a phone pressed between their ear and shoulder. A woman in a wide hat was arguing gently with the wind. There were banners near the entrance, a few gulls overhead, the ocean beyond everything, close enough that you could feel it even before you saw it fully. Lena was back in motion before I put the car in park. "There's the loading area," she said. "We should probably check in first, then come back for the materials." Maya was already gathering her bags. I said, "Go ahead, I'll park and meet you." Lena looked like she might say something else, then nodded. "Okay, we'll find the table." Maya opened the back door, then paused and leaned forward. "Thanks for driving." It was simple. I said, "Of course." They got out, the doors closed. For the first time all morning, the car belonged only to itself again. I sat there for a second with my hands still on the wheel. Then I turned the music up. Not all the way. Close enough. The melody arrived. The part that had been hiding under the low volume came forward. The background opened. The song became the thing it had been the whole time, whether anyone else had heard it or not. I let it play. I thought about how much care I had put into that drive. The cup holders, the charger, the trunk, the scent, the playlist, the air, the version of myself that enjoys making room for people, and the version of myself that still needs a room. That is a lot to put into a car ride. I know that. But I had also spent years building something I wanted people to believe in. And they did. That was the gift. That was the strange part. People believed in it enough to come closer, close enough to help, close enough to have opinions, close enough to change the size of the dream, close enough sometimes to reach for things I had not realized I still thought of as mine. I wanted the help. I still did. I wanted the investments, the introductions, the extra set of eyes, the people who could see the imprint before it made complete sense. I wanted people in the dream. And if I was honest, I liked hosting parts of it. I liked setting things up well. I liked when people felt considered without having to ask. I just also wanted one place nobody got to revise. Maybe you don't always know how sacred something is until you feel yourself protecting it. I looked toward the entrance. Lena and Maya were already inside somewhere, probably finding the table, probably moving something 3 inches to the left, probably being useful in ways I would be grateful for before the day was over. I smiled at that, a real smile, because that was true too. Maybe that was the guess. letting people close enough to help build the dream while still learning where my own room begins. I turned the music down, just enough to walk into the weekend with. Then I got out of the car. The ocean was right there.